Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today we're diving into a two-back or not to back, where we're going to go over a bunch of crowdfunding campaigns, and by a bunch of crowdfunding campaigns, I mean like, I don't know, 5, maybe 6 new ones. But we do have a bunch of board game updates and various things and stuff, but we're going to start off as usual with Cult of the Now. Cult of the Now is where we take a look at a currently available game, in this case Inish over on Game Nerds, available for $56, and Inish is a fantastic game. The point of Cult of the Now is, yes, we will show you a bunch of crowdfunding campaigns, but also, there are a bunch of things you can get your hands on now that have good ratings, that are, you can check a whole bunch of ratings as opposed to 2 or 3 people who got their hands in it. You don't have to wait a year and a half, and you don't have to pay crowdfunding prices, and Inish, as a game that I believe is either inside the top 100 or just outside the top 100, is a fantastic game that I highly recommend. One of my top 10 games of all time for the past several years running. I think it's amazing, I think it's incredible, and I think it's $55.99 over at Game Nerds, hashtag not sponsored. I don't know why I said hashtag. I usually do say not sponsored, but I don't usually say the hashtag part. But hashtag not sponsored, hashtag blessed, yeah, all that. I don't know what I'm doing. I should restart. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and dive into the various other things, which is going to start off with a bunch of board game adjacent. Board game adjacent, we have the Legendary Bundle, 2 exciting adventure paths set in the worlds of Kong Skull Island and Pacific Rim, coming to you from Evil Genius Games, who did Everyday Heroes. This is a set of RPGs. I believe they're RPGs. I'm pretty sure they're RPGs. 952 backers, $97,000 raised. These are going to be taking the universes, the movie universes, and bringing them to your RPG tabletop, so you can go ahead and dive into these universes. And that's all I have here. I mean, I know I've watched both these movies, but like that's the extent of my knowledge over here. It's RPG, or at least at the very least, it's not a board game. I don't think so. And it's Everyday Heroes and all that stuff. And that's the first thing over here. Then we have over here Season 2 of No Rules Barred plays Blood on the Clocktower live. 1,400 backers, 112,000. No Rules Barred, fantastic YouTube channel. Blood on the Clocktower, supposedly fantastic game. I just don't particularly love it myself, but that's a different conversation. But either way, this is Season 2 of Blood on the Clocktower. You can check out some of their previous playthroughs if you want to get a sense or feel of what's going on here, and if you want to support it, get another rewards. This is not yet funded, but almost certainly will be. With 51 days to go and a tiny smidgen left to cross that finish line, this will certainly be funded, and this is going to be funding Season 2 of No Rules Barred, playing through Blood on the Clocktower. So you can check out their previous productions, again, if you want to get a sense or feel. I'm sure there'll be stretch goals and things and all that stuff, but check them out. If you're interested, by all means support, or if you want cool rewards and perks, by all means support, or if you just want to see why I said No Rules Barred is a fun YouTube channel, check that out as well. From there, we have the Gwen gaming table by Geeknson. This is going to actually be bridging 2 categories. We're going to go from board game adjacent to the updates. We're going from board game adjacent to updates on previous campaigns, and we're going to cross the 2 of these with the Gwen gaming table by Geeknson. I believe this is currently their most funded campaign, with 3 days to go, $891,000 raised. I could be wrong, but I think this is their most funded campaign to date, or at the very least likely will be by the time this closes. And this is for the Gwen gaming table. You're going to get a whole bunch of extras if you go ahead and, well, back now and all that. You can see the unlocks. These are various just extras you get just for backing now. You don't have to otherwise pay for. So LED lights, wireless charger, you know, pro modular fabric inset, acrylic bins, all the stuff adds up to around 600 to 800 pounds worth of extras if you back this now. Please note, I have not done full price comparisons of what it would cost to get you this or that. I'm literally going by what it says on the page over here. I did not do a full deep dive. I'm taking them at face value on this. Again, hashtag not sponsored over here, but this is going to be the Geeknson table for the Gwen game table. Check this out if you are interested. It looks like you are theoretically getting extras, but obviously take into account shipping prices as well. One of those nice little prices on the sidebar of how much it costs. You want to make sure that you're going to be paying. We want to make sure you take into account the full pledge levels and all of that before you commit. But past that, you know, check out the Gwen gaming table, all the extras and stuff and perks and all that for the Gwen gaming table. Which brings us to the other update categories. First of all, Endeavor Deep Sea. No major updates here, but this is in the last 3 days left to go. Endeavor Deep Sea by Burnt Island Games and by Grand Gamers Guild. And this is going, and again, by Age of Gaming. At some point I should figure out why it's called Age of Gaming. I don't know if it's a new company, a new entity. Over here on the page, we still see Burnt Island Games and Grand Gamers Guild. I don't know if it's just a game found, you know, title for, I don't know why. I should look into it. Either way, it just throws me off every time because I find myself caught up of, am I saying it right? Am I saying it wrong? Do they start a new company and I just don't know that? Do they not start a new company? I should know that. Maybe it's the same company as it always was. I just get tripped up over what the actual meaning of life, the universe, and the Grand Gamers Guild Age of Gaming / Burnt Island game is. Anyway, Endeavor Deep Sea. 3 days left if you want to check this campaign out. They have all the stretch goals and unlocks and all the things you've gotten here. This is the original Endeavor, I always forget the 2, Endeavor Age of Sail, but now it's Endeavor Deep Sea. Still a very nautical theme to it, but very different actual same general mechanics, different execution of how those mechanics interweave with the systems, and a phenomenal game. Highly recommend this one. And then lastly, in the update category, we have Terrorscape, and I covered Terrorscape over here just to say that with $630,000 to go, this one, not to go, $631,000 raised, 4,000 backers, and 5 days to go, this one is doing incredibly well, and every single week without fail, I have somebody asking me why I don't cover Terrorscape, and the answer is because I covered it when the crowdfunding campaign first came out. It's just been a very large crowdfunding campaign, so it's been available the entire time, and now I'm just saying, hey, they're doing fairly well. They've unlocked a bunch of stuff. This is Terrorscape, you know, a very cool asymmetric game of trying to manage the puzzle as you go through it. Looks very, very cool from Ice Makes, who normally makes smaller box games. This is a very, very big box game, very big box experience. You can check out gameplay, content. I have not covered the game itself. I've covered the campaign. I have not covered the game itself, but you can check out a bunch of other channels that have if you want to get more of a feel for it. And that brings us through all the update categories, which brings us to the not funding category, or the not yet funding category. The not yet funding category, we currently have one over here, which is the Great Rat Wars. $14,000 raised out of a $35,000 goal, 120 backers, 15 days to go. The not yet funding category, and this one might be a not funding. It's hard to say for sure, but usually if you hit this level this far in, there's a chance we're looking at a cancellation and relaunch, so there's a chance it scrapes over that finish line. We'll see. But the Great Rat Wars is a one versus many asymmetrical experience, as one player controls the various giant rat generals and other players control the various characters as you go through a skirmish encounter, each side trying to get to 4 points first, and you can get points either by killing the various heroes as the rat generals, or as the heroes you can get points by killing the rat generals for 2 points apiece, or destroying the trash cans where more rats spawn for 1 point apiece. Ultimately, you're trying to be the first person to get 4 points as you manage your various actions in the game, taking your actions every single round, to your asymmetric characters as you move around the board, play movement cards, take main actions, side actions, all of that. That's going to be the Great Rat Wars over here. And again, I don't know how this is doing ultimately, so we'll see. But pledges coming over here with $65 for the standard pledge and $120 for the deluxe pledge. There's also ways to buy additional large miniatures or to get, you know, a sun drop, or not sun drop, but shading, pre-shaded miniatures as well. All of that over here on the campaign page, but that's the Great Rat Wars, and again, not currently funding yet. Then moving into the fun of the campaign, starting off with Pies, Mori, Lunar, and Bacon. Oops. All Trick Takers. This is 4 trick-taking games from All Play, previously known as Board Game Tables. 1,700 backers, $141,000 raised, 3 days to go. This was a 9-day campaign, so the 3 days to go, it's been a very short campaign this time round. But this one specifically is giving you 4 trick-taking games. They have a little amusing joke on the page, which I don't know if it's an amusing joke or if it's an actual true-to-story fact, but they're like, hey, we need more trick-taking games. Here we go. We need a core trick-taking game, and they said, we need 4 trick-taking games. I don't know if that's a joke, but I mean, it's believable, honestly. But that said, either way, they have 4 trick-taking games. They have to decide whether to go ahead and put out, you know, trick-taking games one a year with all the usual campaigns, or to just say, hey, we're going to do 4 of them right now, right here, right now, and they went ahead and did so, and that's this campaign here. So it's 4 small box games. We're going to have Pies, Bacon, Lunar, and Mori. 4 different versions of trick-taking games. In Pies, you're trying to collect sets of, you know, various these cards and make fruit pies in the game. Over here in, let me scroll through this. Over here in Mori, you're managing dice along with the cards, and the dice don't have to match suit, the cards do, so it's an interesting double element of the trick-taking in the game. And then over here in Lunar, you're working with a partner as you play either the animal or the whatever of the moon. What's it called? The shade of the moon, the phase of the moon. Your partner plays a suit card and plays a suit card and number card. But you're playing the phases of the moon and the number and the animal. You're trying to combine those 2 into tricks, working with your partner together. And then lastly, in Bacon, you're trying to collect the various. What are you trying to do in Bacon? How did I miss this one? You always get 2 wild cards, you're playing sets and runs. I don't think I really looked into the Bacon one. Bacon, it's another trick-taking game over here. That's going to be 4 games from trick-taking table from All Play, and in general with their crowdfunding campaigns, they have the usual shtick, which is you can get the game, you can get it now, you can get it retail, but if you get it on the crowdfunding campaign, you also get extras for free. So in this case, they have, let's see if we can see it up here. Over here, we have $90 each for these games, and then you also have the $10 a piece deluxe upgrades from laser engraved wood tokens to Bacon meeples over here. Why are they called meeples? Why are they called meeples? It's not a meeple, it's a bacon. I'm sorry, it's not a meeple. What's the thing again? Meeple stands for my people. So at the best, it should be Macon. Macon? Yeah, it should be Macon. This is Macon, okay? That's what it is. We have Bacon Macon. Why would you call it bacon? Bacon meeples is the equivalent of calling it People meeples? People meeples. That's what it is. People meeples. People meeples. We should start calling it people meeples. We have dog meeples, otherwise known as dog mogs? Either way. Anyways, we have upgrades. We have various upgrades that are meeples. Just anything cardboard is now a meeple at this point. Anyways, the dog, honestly, the dog I can get behind. I can get behind the dog. I'm sorry, I could. The dog at least is like shape, and I understand that we've taken to calling cutesy various things, you know, meeples, jeeples, peoples, all those various things. It's all great. But the bacon is where you lose me. That's not a meeple. That's just a token. This is a new level. All play. You can't do this. This is not how it works. Anyways, you get all these for free if you back it on the crowdfunding campaign. Free is a relative term. Free just means that they've taken into account all the price points and they've said, hey, you've bought enough stuff and here are some goodies. Hopefully this is a mutual exchange and it's all good, and hopefully it will be a mutual exchange and all good. And that brings us to the whole should you back it, should you not. Generally with their campaigns, I usually say the same thing, which is if you want their games and if you know you're going to get their games, getting them on the crowdfunding campaign makes the most sense. If you're not sure if you want their games, or if you only want some of them, it usually changes the conversation and equation, although of course you do want to factor in whether you're going to hunt down those extras at the same time. So generally with all play games, if you're looking for like simply the cheapest and, you know, not worried about all the extras, I recommend waiting to see what still has your interest a year and a half down the road, or whatever, you know, next time you're shopping at a retailer or this or that, or even a future campaign. If you're not in a rush, just wait and you'll find yourself spending less money. But if you know you're going to get this stuff anyway, usually the best price point and the extras are all included by getting it on the crowdfunding campaign in the all-in-one pledge. Like for example, in my case, I'm kind of interested in Mori, but the rest of them I haven't looked into enough to know if I want them, and so I'm usually stuck in that zone where I always want like one or two of them, but I don't necessarily want all four, and usually getting all four is where you get the best price point. So it's always that, you know, hey, get them all and it's cheaper, but you have to want them all or it's not really cheaper. That's going to be Pies, Mori, Lunar, and Bacon from All Play. From there we have Skytear Horde Monoliths from Skytear Games. 173,000 euro raise, 1,647 backers, 10 days left to go. A Skytear Horde Monoliths is basically the follow-up to Skytear Horde, bringing you more Skytear Horde, a new box for Skytear Horde, Skytear Horde for the first time if you haven't gotten the original stuff, all those various versions of it. You can check all that out. This is going to be coming, this is, well, what am I saying? This is a solo game that has a 2-player mode as well as a head-to-head mode, so you can play it 1, 2, or 3 players as you go through the game. You can also, it plays, what are we doing? This is a... I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. The general theme of the game is you're playing as a various factions taking on the various enemies. The goal is you're going to have a card over here that you're lining up with various baddies. You're going to choose a faction or multiple factions if you're playing it multiple players, or two-handed solo, and you're going to be trying to take down the enemies in a variety of ways. You can scale the difficulty level, different outsiders, different decks, different enemies, and all different kinds of things, different complexities, trying to figure out what pattern of card play is going to work to suit your fancy. Overall, it's a fun, challenging game. I really enjoy this one. I have a gameplay, you can check it out on my channel. I've very much enjoyed Skytear Horde, the original campaign, and I've enjoyed diving into it multiple times since it's arrived, and I really like the game system, and I love the fact that the playmat fits in the box, because it means I actually use the playmat in this game, as opposed to going upstairs and hunting around my playmats to not actually do that, because who has the time for that? But either way, this is a very solid game, and over here right now we have the original game, and we have a whole bunch of new content, including new deluxe fight upgrades and boxes and all that, because the original box, while it is good enough, there are some like creasing elements. It doesn't feel like a high quality box. It does the job, honestly. I'd rather a box like that fits the playmat than a nicer looking box that doesn't fit the playmat, but I understand all the complaints around it, and I am happy they have a new box coming out, although granted, you'll have to pay for all that. But over here we have, in the Skytear Horde, is going to give you, the base game is giving you 3 Alliance decks, and then you have the Illusionist expansion mixed in, then we have 3 Outsider decks, the 3 Horde decks, as well as the additional Horde deck. We have a bunch of Outsiders you can mix in, we have the various castles and portals and minions and all those things you can mix in, and all of them combining to give you just a ton of variability to how you approach the experience. In the new campaign, we're going to be introducing a few new things. We have 3 new Alliance decks, another new Divinus expansion. We have the Broods expansion, 3 more Monoliths decks, more Horrors, more revised portal cards, challenges, Colossals over here. All of these things. The Colossal expansion is going to be bringing you, I think, 22 new cards representing 9 different, outsiders you're going to be facing off against. This time, they've taken up multiple lanes as you go through it. Whole bunch of content for the game, bunch of new content to enhance your experience and mix up your experience even more. And as you scroll through the page, it's going to be showing you example cards and sets from the various factions and alliances and all that. But let's skip down here to the Monoliths gameplay all-in. For €49, you can go ahead and get just the new gameplay all-in. For €69, you can get the returning play with the deluxe, all the new stuff, and the deluxe box in case you want all that, the tokens, all that. For returning collectors, you'll get all the extras, including new bright sleeves, the book, all those things over there. And then lastly, we have the, we have the new players deluxe if you want all that. And finally, we have the Monoliths collectors, €194 to spend basically as much as you possibly can on basically getting every single thing they've done done for Skytear Horde. I like this game. I don't know if I'd €200 like this game, so take that into account as you go ahead and get this. But overall, this is a strong solo game. It's a strong competitive game, a strong cooperative game. I have not played it competitively, and overall, I really enjoyed this one. And again, a bunch of expansions and things you can get over here as far as the various ways you can mix and match your own bundle. But that is Skytear Horde Skytear Horde Monoliths over on GameFound. Moving on to Leviathan Wilds. Sense the sneeze coming. Nope, we are good. 2,289 backers, $120,000 to go, 17 days to go, I keep saying dollars to go, $120,000 raised, 17 days to go. Leviathan Wilds is a solo and cooperative game of climbing the Colossus with the various meeples and trying to chip away at their crystals to help heal the Colossus, even as the Colossus tries to shake you and throw you off your back and trigger different attacks against you as it senses the distress around itself. As you go through, I think it's like, how many Colossus? How many are there? There's like 18 or something like that. I think there's like 18 wilds, if I recall. No, 49, those are the 7 decks over here. 15 Leviathans to go through. You can have 7 different classes, characters and classes that you're going to mix one from each, giving you 49 different combinations for the characters you're building, all as you try to wander from a Leviathan to Leviathan, helping them survive while they try to fight you off. That's basically the game. You're trying to move around, manage your economy, manage your resources. You have to use your actions, use your movement to practically move around the board in a way that's going to have you not losing your grip where you can't afford to lose your grip or you'll fall to the ground. And so there's a whole sequence of how you have to approach these little puzzles as you work together with your card abilities, with your character abilities, class abilities, and unlock stuff as you go through the campaign. So lots of fun little solo play here. You can check out a bunch of content on this game. There is a lot of stuff to check out over here. But either way, this is going to run you $69, $59, down from $69. Save $10 on the $69 MSRP, $59 for the core game over here. And that's the only real pledge here. They have a retailer pledge, but past that, they're basically saying, hey, this is the pledge. It is what it is. And they are saying they don't currently have any plans to go to retail. More specifically, there are no active plans, which means if it does happen, it'll probably be down the road, but we'll see, so who knows. And all that is stuff taken into account. I will say with the combination of industry backing they have over here, they have a lot of knowledge in the industry. These are people who have worked in a bunch of Fantasy Flight stuff over here, Imperial Descent, Legacy, all these things. Lots of hands in this pot as far as their industry knowledge and experience. And combined with that, we have 2,000 backers on the page. Means I do expect there will be a retail version at some point. I'd be surprised if there wasn't, although I don't know anything about the timeline or the version or the trade-offs there are. Very often there are things in place there, but do factor that in over here because price point over here on the game, once you factor in shipping over here, this is a game, they have the early bird, which is unfortunately all gone over here, but for $59 for that game plus shipping, this is a game that if it does show up in retail will likely be cheaper than that, but I don't know the ifs or the ands or the whens or the how or the version you're going to get. So yes, it will probably show up in retail. I don't know when. And that factors us into the whole, should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value? Overall, this is a very solid solo game. You should check out the variety of content on this game, from One Stop Co-op to Brothers Murph to any number of different channels. I've overall enjoyed this game. I've only played through the first few Leviathans on it, but I've really enjoyed what I've experienced so far from this one. And also what I experienced was way back. They had a relaunch campaign, so I don't even know what's changed or adjusted since then. I don't know if any gameplay has changed or adjusted since then. But overall, Leviathan Wilds, a solid cooperative and solo puzzle, similar to Skytear Horde, while being totally different than Skytear Horde. As far as should you back it, should you not, hard to say. At the $69 or so it's going to cost you once you factor in shipping, that is a decent amount to pay for a game like this. Not terrible, but in terms of what you're getting, components and all that, it really ultimately depends on how much the aftermarket demand is and how much is going to be in retail. This could hold its value just fine, especially if it's hard to pick up and get your hands on it, because it is a good enough game and it's fairly unique in terms of the exact way everything works together, and it has that campaign-esque kind of progression, which is going to add a further draw to it. But also if it shows up in retail for $20 less, 6 months later, that's going to totally change the equation. So I'd put this firmly in the risk category. I think if you back this game, don't expect to see your money back, but you might, but you also might not. Moving on over here, we have Raising Robots from Navu Games. Raising Robots, 1,400 backers, $94,000 raised. I did it right this time. 17 days to go. Raising Robots from Navu Games is their newest title. These are the people who brought you the Reckoners and Stockpile, 2 fantastic games. I have both of those in my collection. I don't play Stockpile as much as I used to, but that's because it's just hard to get to the table. It's a really good game. I don't often have 4 and 5 players as much. Nowadays I have 3 players, and when I do get 4 players, I'm usually playing some sort of area control game instead of Stockpile. But Stockpile is fantastic. It's also on on Board Game Arena, by the way. The Reckoners, on the other hand, the Reckoners you can even play solo, which makes it a fantastic experience for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 players. Although again, at 5 or 6 players, I'm probably playing something else, and even at 4 players, I'm probably playing something else, which means the Reckoners primarily sees play in my house at around 1 to 3 players, I'd say, but it is a fantastic game. And then there's Raising Robots, which is going to work just fine as a 2-player experience. It even has a solo mode. I would say it's probably better at 3 players, that's my own impression. I'm really getting into a deep dive in player count here, but that's what we're here for, player count deep dives. I think the Raising Robots would probably function fine at 5 and 6 players. I know it has a module to adjust for the scaling of how much stuff and resources will be in there, so you do use different cards to account for player count. Although I haven't played it at 5 and 6 players, see previous discussions about where I actually spend my time with 5 and 6 players nowadays, but that's Raising Robots. Raising Robots itself, as far as the actual gameplay, is a tableau building engine in which you're basically trying to add cards to your tableau. Think Earth, think Wingspan, think other games that have you adding cards to your tableau. But basically, Raising Robots, you're going to be playing across 8 rounds of play as you add cards, as you build robots, as you upgrade your engine, a lot of tableau building, and more importantly, some absolutely gorgeous artwork in this game. Just charming artwork. I've been talking about the artwork since I first had my hands in this game because it's so charming. I mean, I want to like this. I like this game here. I like this game here. I really do. It's a good game. But I want to like it over here because of just how good the art is. I enjoy this one a lot. I gave it a 4 to 5 overall, but it definitely, that robot art is definitely pulling in. Not that dissimilar to Dice Stone, by the way. Dice Stone is also a game that I think the gameplay mechanics are over here, lower than Raising Robots. I like Raising Robots more than Dice Stone. Dice Stone's about over here for me, but then the art brings it to here. By the way, Dice Stone, that's really a game you want to play ideally at 2 players specifically. I know they have other player modes, but I think 2 players is really where Dice Stone shines once we're having a conversation about player count. Anyways, this is usually where I have a cup of water after one of those monologues. Moving on, this is Raising Robots. Raising Robots from Navi Games. So basically, they have a $49 retail edition of the game. They have a $69 deluxe version of the game. There are 17 people backing at the retail edition of the game. The reason for that is because the deluxe version of the game, which is $20 more, includes the Pets expansion, which the Pets expansion on its own is a $15 buy. So at that point, you can pay $20 more to get all the upgraded bits and wooden thingies and nice stuff and all those things. And basically, you're paying $5 more for all of that because you're basically already getting the Pets expansion as a $15 buy. Otherwise, and the Pets expansion will not be available at retail. So basically, if you kind of want the complete experience in any way, I would say again, if you're here, if you're one of those 17 people backing the retail edition of the game, you're probably better off just waiting for actual retail and getting it cheaper at that point once you factor in free shipping and all that stuff. But free shipping potentially depending on which store you buy from and cost and know your local market, all that stuff. But for the rest of you, you're backing at the $69 deluxe version, which makes sense. That's what I'd be backing at if you're backing this campaign. That's where I'd be. I wouldn't bother with the retail edition. I'm not saying you should back it. That's a different conversation. But if you're going to back it, I'd highly recommend getting the deluxe edition of the game. The deluxe edition of the game is going to give you the same bits and bobs and everything that's in the retail edition, but it's also going to give you upgraded wooden components for basically everything. We have gold foil deluxe supplied box. We have the Pets expansion, which is $15 on its own. We have wooden markers and wooden tokens and premium sleeves for the entire game and deluxe stretch goals and social goals. All of those things bundled with the deluxe version of the game. So basically, yeah, if you want it here, get it there. As far as should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value? I'm not sure. I think Navi Games, they've actually had a very strong split in terms of their games. Things like the Reckoners have done a tremendous job holding their value and been very premium products that have done very, very well. And they've also put out some retail things that have done okay as far as how they go. I think Raising Robots has charm and good gameplay behind it, and I think between the two of those things, the deluxe version of the game, I think will hold its value. It is a think, it's not a guarantee, not by a long shot. In general, games are getting more expensive, and especially when there are more and more retail versions and it's harder and harder to find that full market, it's always a challenge and it's not certain by any means, but I think this is a good enough game that there'll be enough buzz that people will be wanting those extra bits and things, and so my guess is it's a safe back. But again, guess and not a certainty by any means whatsoever. I'll also say that they have a strong tag somewhere on this page over here where they talk about, where is it? I can't remember where it is. They talk about the game, you know, where is it? No, not here, nope, not there either. Nope, not any of those places, not in that place either, and not in that place. I must have missed it. But they basically have something about the page where it talks about the gameplay. It's somewhere here. Here we go. Warning, expert level. Raising Robots is a complicated strategy board game. Is not designed for children under 14 years of age. So, first of all, I've played this with my daughter. She's 11. She did phenomenally well. She did just fine. She did not win, but she came in second, a close second as well. So, the 14 years of age is not that you shouldn't play with anyone under 14. It's more specifically that the game has cutesy, adorable artwork, and I think they want to make it very, very, very clear this is an adult-focused game, and it is. It is 100% an adult-focused game. When I say I played it with my 11-year-old daughter, she plays all the games in my collection. She's been gaming for a long time, since she was 3 years old, starting off with, Unicorns in the Clouds. By the way, Unicorns in the Clouds really is a 2, 3, or 4-person game. I wouldn't really recommend it as a 1-person game. I don't even know if they have a 1-person mode. But either way, she's been playing games for a long time. And so yeah, I don't mean that in any way against the game. I mean, you can know your kids, know your whoever, know whoever's in your game group and what their level is. But this is a lot. I would say this is more complex than Earth or Wingspan in terms of what it does. Same basic mechanic and same core concept as far as the game goes, but it's definitely got more things going on in terms of the actual gameplay, in my opinion. It's I'm not saying the game's better, but I think there's more crunchiness to it in terms of the gameplay. Either way, that's going to be Raising Robots. That's going to be Raising Robots from Nava Games, which means we're going to move on to the next one and the last game, which is Uncharted Stars. We only have five new campaigns today, and then we're going to go to the upcoming campaigns. Uncharted Stars, 619 backers, $3,900 raised so far. This is a print and play from Tristan Rossum and Scott Alms, and this is coming from, I just said it was coming from Tristan Rossum as the illustrator and, I guess, company, and Scott Alms the designer. And Uncharted Stars is a roll and write game of navigating the galaxy as you roll 3 dice every single turn, and you use them to allocate towards, let me see if I can find some sheets here. I don't know if I can find some. Let's see if we can find some stuff. You can use them to allocate towards a space map over here. So you can either use 3 dice to go into the realms of deeper space, or you can use 2 dice, and then you can use that 3rd dice to go ahead and put on your own little board so you can upgrade the various thrusters and shields and lasers. So basically you're building up your ship and making it stronger as you try to figure out how to go through space. The game is like 18 rounds of play, if I recall correctly, 18 rounds of play, and in the game you're going to spend your first like 10 rounds just building up your basic ecosystem, and those last 8 rounds you're going to get more and more and more done. There's going to be a lot of cascading as you earn your various experts and scientists and use all your rewards and just have a ton of things happening. This is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one. It is print to play roll and write, which means I am less likely to actually pull it out and play it, but it's one of those many games where I wish it was not a print and play roll and write, so I would actually dive into it more. As it stands, I finally committed a box to my print and play roll and writes, so now I still won't play them, but at least they're in a box where I won't play them, as opposed to before they were just in the cloud, the like metaphorical cloud. Now they're in a box, so if I'm not going to play them, at least they're taking up space in my house like the rest of my board games. Anyways, that's going to be £5 for the game over here to get Uncharted Stars. I really do think it's a fantastic game, but obviously understand that print and play roll and write, take that into account as far as whether you are or are not somebody who actually plays those. And with that, we're going to go ahead and dive into our picks of the week. We only have 5 games to pick from because I only really pick from the new campaigns, not the updates, which means we have Pies, Mori, Lunar, and Bacon. We have Skytear Horde, Leviathan Wilds, Raising Robots, and Uncharted Stars are the 5 different games we have today. As far as picks of the week, I generally do 2 picks. I do one for my personal interest pick of the week, and one for the one which I believe is the overall most likely to hold its value. My personal interest pick of the week is going to be Skytear Horde. I think this game is fantastic. I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to all the new content in the game because, I mean, I haven't gone through all the old content, but I've gone through enough of the old content that I am excited and will benefit from the new content. This is a game I've played a whole bunch, both when I originally had it, then I played the prototype even after the campaign, and then I played it when it arrived. I really enjoy this as a fun little solo game. I play the multiplayer and cooperative as well, but I find that I get a lot of plays in the solo, and I really enjoy Skytear Horde. So this is easily my pick of the week as far as personal interest pick of the week. As far as the game that is most likely to hold its value, I'm going to go with Raising Robots here. And again, most likely to hold its value does not mean that it's a guarantee to hold its value. It just means that I think as far as getting it retail, getting it now and all that, I think if you are interested in Raising Robots, the deluxe pledge over there, I think that's the one that's most likely to hold its value just based on the quality of the game, the quality of the components, the company, and all those things. I think there will be a buzz and demand for this one. I think it is a very good game, and I think the cute artwork might be I think the cute artwork almost might be something that it's a hurdle to overcome initially, but will be more of a selling point down the road once people realize that this is a very, very, very solid game. And with that, moving on to the campaigns coming next week, we have 2 things, which always in general, we have a lot more than 2 coming next week. I just talk about 2 of them. We have Dead Cells, the roguelike board game. This is going to be launching next week. 18,000 people following this campaign. I probably should play the video game at some point, but honestly, you know what I've been playing recently? I've been playing a whole lot of Splice and Dice on my phone. It's a little app game, really enjoying it. You could try the demo for free, but then after that, you could pay like $7, which I happily paid. I've been playing way too much. The real cost of this game has been the time I've been spending on it. Really enjoying Splice and Dice. Again, hashtag not sponsored, and all of, I don't know why I'm doing this. It's late. I'm in the mood. We're doing things. Anyways, and then secondly from there, we also have a Button Shy reprint campaign launching over on GameFound. These Button Shy campaigns tend to sneak up on you, which is why I like to talk about them when I know about them, because usually it's like, hey, Button Shy, they'll be showing up, and boom, they pop up, and they're up for like 7 days, and they go away, and people are like, what, where, I missed it, I don't even know what's happening, and you have to wait for the next one. So your Button Shy reprint campaign will be launching on GameFound in like a day and a half, or whatever it is. And with that, that is basically everything. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I appreciate you hanging around for this slightly chaotic 2-back and auto-back, And as always, I hope you have a good one. I remember the good old days when plastic surgery was like such a taboo subject. Nowadays you talk about Botox and nobody even raises an eyebrow.